Thank you so much, Adra, for the warm welcome, and thank you all for being here. At the outset, let me thank the Kerala Startup Mission and the entire team behind Huddle Global. I mean, what an event you have put up. Fantastic. A round of applause to all of you before we commence our session, because it is not easy. I think all of us present on stage, we understand how difficult it is to organize an event wherein we have, even just one venue and maybe 1,000 people. And here you have created quite a world here, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. Since last evening I've been here, and the buzz that is going on around here is something which is very, very exciting for all of us who are part of this ecosystem. So the topic which has been assigned and the time, we have about half an hour. And the clock is ticking, and within the time frame, we will see to what extent we can try and get the best out of some of our panelists here. Three of our panelists here are extremely eminent in their own verticals, in their own world. They have created some outstanding, amazing things during the course of their journey. All of them have been in their vocations for more than 3 decades. And this panel is as diverse as it can get. We have a chartered accountant, we have IT man turned genome man, we have an advertising guru turned educational entrepreneur, we have an implant man, let me just put it that way. His story is extremely interesting, how he has scaled up and actually bought out a company elsewhere, etc. So it would be nice if we could have a few opening comments from all our panelists to quickly tell us a bit about what you do, what your background has been. 2-3 minutes, if each of us can do that initially. Thereafter, we can move to the round. So can I start with you, Sam?
Hi, good evening, everybody. So I'm Sam Santosh, and my background, as he said, originally was in IT, about 20 years in IT, and then the last 15 years in genomics. The two innings, second was obviously more fun and more lucrative than the first one. So I spun off 4 companies, created and spun off 4 companies in the genomics field. Maybe looking at that from the theme of today's discussion, the first in the software was more from developing here and selling it outside, and that India has become very successful. In my second innings, it is more taking technology from outside and bringing it here and trying to see what are the apt solutions that is needed for the Indian market. So I think today in our theme discussion, we may be talking a little bit of both, and maybe some more different things of how our ideas from here can go out, right? So let us have a good discussion.
Absolutely, thank you. Over to you, Vinodini. Apart from founding a leading ad agency, she's very, very involved in the student verticals of TiE, very passionately handling it over the last 4-5 years, scaled it up to more than 20,000 students, running in a very effective entrepreneurship program. So maybe you can also talk a bit about that.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Yes, I come from this branding and advertising vertical, though I'm basically a science postgraduate interested in genetic engineering, and, I wished I were in the life science park of Kerala. Yeah, it just so happens that I stumbled into this. However, when we're talking about Kerala, taking Kerala to the world, I think even the brands in Kerala, we played a big role in taking a lot of brands from Kerala to the world through the right strategies to make sure that what we project about them is right to the world. And they have grown as brands too, and so have we. So that is about us. But more importantly, the verticals that I lead in TiE, I'm a chart member of TiE, and I lead these verticals, the TiE Young Entrepreneur Program, which is a global program, and the TiE University Program, which is meant for college students. TYE is for school students, and the TiE University Program is for college students. In the TYE program, we have, as Vivek just now mentioned, we train students on design thinking and business model canvas and business planning, and also how to pitch to an investor. So you actually find that we are able to train students from government schools even to pitch to investors. And actually, it culminates in a global competition every year, which happens, where 64 chapters from across the globe compete for a global award for the best pitch. And I'm very proud to say that TiE Kerala's team from Bhavan Sadarsh Vidyalaya in Cochin won the global finals, went to the global finals and won the global award of $4,500, and they have a patented product. A very good example of taking India, Kerala to the world. That's it.
Now, may I invite Jaishankar to speak a bit about the entity which you founded and how you incubated it out of Palakkad and how you have scaled that up and your stories.
Good evening. Actually, thank you very much for the Startup Mission for inviting me for a panel discussion, first of all. Actually, I have started a medical device manufacturing company in 2000, decades back. Actually, what was the thought process behind is to manufacture, or before that, prototyping, research and development for healthcare, in healthcare for the patients at affordable price patterns. Because you know that 20, 30 years back that our market, healthcare market, have been dominated by the multinational companies with maximum pricing that normal person cannot afford all these medical implants at that time. So that thought process generate at that time to how we can develop at par medical implants which is going inside the human body during surgeries. So that thought process that leads us actually to this even after 25 years. Now we have been manufacturing, supplying the spinal implants and skull-based implants throughout the nation, even exporting. So this is actually that a small story of Geon. And even we have acquired a multinational company in our country in Ratnagiri state. So that this is a small journey of Geon, and we are planning in different verticals development.
Thank you, Jaishankar. I'll come back to you on the psyche which went behind acquiring that company. But before that, let me start with Sam. Sam, you were running a very successful IT company outside the country. What was the trigger for you to, once you exited that company, to come back and start something which is completely unconnected from both your training or your vocation or your experience? And what has been your learning? Most people here may not, they heard you speak about the art and culture, but what went behind the successful commencement and the exit from some of the, especially the MedGenome story, if you can share, that would be good to hear.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I told this story many times in many places, but the transition is not sudden. I mean, the outcome might look sudden, but it took me 5 to 6 years actually to really prepare and learn to move from one industry to the other, right? But and there are many events that trigger that type of impulses. You know, my trigger was the the Human Genome Project. So that when the results were announced and the data became available, as a software guy who was more focused on system level programming, as soon as I saw that the genome data would be available, I knew the power, right? That's the source code of life. So you're now getting the source code of life into your hands. And as a techie, like a deep tech guy of those days, I knew what we could do with the source code. So that was a trigger for getting into genomics. But it took, like I said, 5 years of work and planning to get into that, then another 3 years of transition. I didn't just move one day, because my company was already public, so I had to do a lot of work to really get out of that. But I could announce that I'm going into genomics and this is my company. And in a way, it was good for me too, because there was one leg in the existing business why I could get time to develop the other leg. Then the genomics journey then was trying to really take advantage of new technologies that came at that time, next generation sequencing, and India needs a lot of genomics help because of our population, because of the way of our inbreeding, because of our caste system. So we have a lot of burden. So that burden can be solved by genomics. That is why MedGenome was quickly successful, because there is the first company here which could provide genetic diagnostics and could solve a lot of problems. Children born with serious diseases, why, and how can we fix that? At least not with that baby, at least the next baby. And the next wave is now coming up. Like you said, genetic engineering is now going to be a huge thing, right? So genomics is going to be the foundation for a lot of new drugs, for a lot of new technologies. So it's a very exciting field. But I thought it was time for me to sort of step back. It's 35 years is sort of enough. And I had been building up other things, a non-profit trust. And through that trust, I had been building up a garden, a medicinal plant garden called the Hortus Malabaricus Garden. Unfortunately, very few Malayalis will know Hortus Malabaricus, though it is our book. The Dutch made it here. So, Hortus Malabaricus means Garden of Malabar. It's a 17th century book, 12 volumes, the important plants of Kerala. So I'm growing that. as a conservation project, plant conservation project. So those are things that I'm more focused on. But I happen to be near Kalamandalam, my garden, and Cherudurthi. So that got me more interested into the culture of Kerala and how that culture can itself be a good product in the future. So that can become like $100 million or even $1 billion industry pretty soon. So we are working with Kerala Startup Mission to really set up some things there in Kalamandalam and try to see how we can promote industry and startups from there.
Excellent. I think this is, especially for the youngsters here, it's extremely inspiring story of how his ideas and his thought processes have pivoted and now starting with an IT company to art and culture now. So, over to you, Vinod. I think we can just start from where Sam stopped, because since you are in the ad space and dealing with some of the largest corporate clients, what has really been your learning which is now helping you to connect so well with the ecosystem? You're a very popular face in the startup ecosystem because you're moving to you've covered almost all the educational institutions, colleges, everywhere. You're speaking to a lot of youngsters. What really helped you from your journey as an ad person, which is now which has led to your current passion of inspiring the youth?
Good question, Vivek. Actually, see, in advertising, what we follow is a creative brief format, which is exactly what design thinking is all about. So when you actually try to bring the same formula into design thinking and teach and train design thinking, it's about the same thing that we are doing. And that has really helped me to make sure that with my experience in design thinking for clients and helping them scale up and helping them set strategies for their path into the global market, it has been easier for me to step into the startup ecosystem. Of course, I was always a trainer from in the government's face-to-face program for training students. And during COVID days, I was literally every night speaking to some government school, students team or the other, and actually giving them career guidance and also giving them ideas on startups, because the government's VSSE schools, they have this vocational training happening. Every school has a particular vocation that students are getting trained into. So it was very easy to help them to see how they can become self-sufficient, especially at the grassroots level. In the very most remote government schools that we used to have sessions every night, literally during COVID days. And it used to be arranged by the government only. So that also inspired me to make sure that, I can contribute the same thing into the startup ecosystem. Luckily, I'm a TiE charter member, and it gives you the forum, the platform to do this. And also, I think because the Kerala Startup Mission is doing so much in order to support it, and the Fab Lab, it's a great, it's a great passion to be able to take these very students who come to all the TYE and TiE finals. We take all the students from most schools to the Fab Lab, and we make sure that they get exposure to make sure that there is more value adds, that students really know that they can start something. And if you look at some of the leading startups that are here from Kerala, Gen Robotics is there, UFarm is there. There's so many excellent startups that are coming out of Kerala. They're all very young, and we bring most of them back to talk to students from schools too. And the TiE Young Entrepreneur Program, I'm very proud to say, has a panel of nearly 60 to 100 we won't call them trainers, they're mentors, and they're all the who is who in business. All of us are mentors. All the charter members of TiE and whoever runs the biggest businesses, including C. Balagopal sir, who is, even when he was Federal Bank chairman, now he's KSIDC chairman, he still comes to train government school students with us. So, and we also have successful startup founders who are coming to train. So it's actually become a program where it's so inclusive and so many stakeholders in this, that I'm sure with the support of the Kerala Startup Mission also, this program is really going to grow and is going to change the startup ecosystem as well as set up more startups in the state. And also, I think we will also have reverse migration happening. Like in the previous session, gamification was being talked about. I still remember one of my earliest clients 2 decades back was the very first gaming company called GamesIndia.com by Jugal, and they were way ahead of their time, and they had 40 people. They had a huge setup here and a huge one in the US, and at that time we also wondered, we helped them develop all their collaterals, and we were helping them in their game formats and things, and they kept saying, the time, we are a little early, but this is going to be the future, and look what we are seeing today, So Jugal used to always say that. He says that there is going to be a time and space for gaming, and Kerala is going to be the hub for that, And I'm sure that from what we saw in the last panel, recent panel about gaming, it has become the real powerhouse in Kerala. And this is going to also bring back a lot of people into Kerala. This reverse migration is also going to happen thanks to such ecosystems, such sectors booming. And they're all going out of Kerala because we have no dearth of talent. Kerala is the place for talent. We have inclusivity. The World Economic Forum Spotlight also said that, they have said that Kerala is seen as one of the most inclusive ecosystems in the startup ecosystem globally. So I think the scope for doing all this is going to be very, very high. And we are all stakeholders, most stakeholders are joining hands. So the passion about doing this itself has actually helped me scale up from advertising, and all those learnings have been brought into the startup ecosystem.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vinod. My next question to Jayashankar is, we'd like to hear this story. You very briefly touched upon it in your opening remarks about a Palakkad-based company going out and acquiring a multinational company. So what was the state of mind of the promoters when you decided to take that plunge going to another completely different jurisdiction outside the country? And, what was going through your mind at that point as a promoter? And two, what has your experience been post taking over that company to actually ensure that the systems, processes, synergy with your existing company and integrating it into your current company? What has been your experience with this particular venture which you have taken over?
Actually, it's a different story. We have been supplying many medical devices to this multinational company. Once that I said earlier, that is, they cannot manufacture the product at an affordable price segment in India. So they were overhead expenditures and many things are on higher side. So what they unionization, so many things are there. So at that time, we have been supplying products at most quality aspect to this particular company in Maharashtra. And finally, they plan to close down that unit because they cannot withstand in India with their pricing, with their quality aspect and all. So at that time, they are actually invited us to take up the company, and the negotiation, it is going on for almost 1.5 years, due diligence, so many things are there. So it was a very good brand globally. It in this segment, some of you might be known about that. It is Adler Healthcare Private Limited. Adler is a foreign company. Its brand is before 2 decades back. Before only two major brands were there. One is Adler. The other one is Enor. Enor, in the sense that is from Bombay Dyeing group of chain companies. So this Adler is rooted their brand throughout the nation. So we have purchased that brand actually, and it was a 120,000 square feet manufacturing setup made up of European engineers. It was well maintained, and we have taken over that company in 2021. So with all product, what is happening in medical segment now, it is not just like, it is very difficult to start up a medtech industry in India nowadays, because when you are planning to start up, you will be getting a business revenue even after 4 years. Since that, normally that you will be taking 1.5 years to take up land, building and capex investment and so many things. And you take another 1.5 years for stringent audits and to get the manufacturing license from Government of India. This is the procedure actually. So business revenue, by getting this business revenue is very long in medtech industries, because since all right from the cotton swab to the heart valve, these are all product regulated 10, 15 years back actually. Only 15 years back. When I started the company, there was no regulation. Even the paracetamol, that it has been regulated, and the medical shop, that also will be licensed. no other company's medical devices was not regulated in India 2 decades back, even 15 years back. So that scenario that we have supplied so many medical devices to this multinational company, at last we have negotiated them to take over that. They have a legacy in India also, and they have ethical product also. They have majorly they have ethics also to taking over for this acquisition. We though there were unionization, we have to retain 50% of the employees there, and even now it is break even and going well. Very nice.
Wonderful. I think three different perspectives on Kerala going global or global coming to Kerala, and it's been a nice round. I think our timing ticker is already showing nil, but I think there's enough time because 30 minutes was allotted. So we'll take quick closing remarks from all of you within 1 to 2 minutes, and then we'll wrap up within the next 5 minutes. So, Sam, what would be your advice to all the youngsters here? You're not just a business, a startup entrepreneur turned successful entrepreneur turned author also. You have also written about it. So maybe a few nuggets of wisdom from what you have written. Maybe it would be nice to hear.
Well, I don't want to bore everybody too much. So let me just talk about a couple of other points, if you don't mind. Especially since some of the panelists from the previous session was here. So I'd like to point out two things which I disagree, which you guys all agreed upon. The VCs, they have money, so we will accept that. But two things which I disagreed was that one, they mentioned that, hey, we have a lot of patents in India. So the problem is that the patents are not, there's no effort to commercialize them. So that is the problem. But I strongly disagree. That is not the problem. Most of the patents are of not much value. So that is why nobody is coming to commercialize that. Once the patents become good, then you will run into this problem, especially bureaucratic countries like you can see in UK and Canada, all that run into the problem of lack of the proper setup to commercialize the technologies. But in our India case, that is not the case. That is number one where I disagree. Second, you felt that the industry's contribution to R&D is low in India, right? And compared to metrics that you guys mentioned. So government is putting in money. The VCs are also bringing in money, but the corporates are not really putting in much into R&D. But again, that is if you really look at it, that is the corporates which are listed. Once your company is listed, they are then driven by the financial requirements of the Indian Wall Street, right? So I had recently met one of the top pharma companies of India, the CEO. So they have to do a lot of R&D without giving much publicity to R&D. And they've got a clinical trial phase 1 approval. So I said oh, congratulations. No, but I didn't read about it. What? So he said, oh, no, we don't say it outside. Because if we say it, our stock price will come down. Honestly. Because then the Dalal Street friends said, oh, wow. Now the company is going to go to phase 2, phase 3. So a lot of money is going to be spent. So what I'm trying to say is that the corporate is driven by the world, our country. So our country, the financial world is driven by some other numbers. That will change. But currently, it is all much more conservative. So that conservativeness has not moved out of India. India is very conservative. So that reflects in many, many places, even in the VC world. You guys will invest only in very, very, very strong things, right? If you really come up with a very new idea, the VCs are still very reluctant. It's a group mentality. Because again, you're answerable. It's not your money. You're taking money from other people and investing it on their behalf, right? So it's not a criticism, but I meant to say a different way of looking at it from what I'm saying. So India, coming back, I'll just wrap up in a minute. So yeah, guys, the youngsters here, the world is open. There is no reason why people from Kerala like us can't become global. Nothing stopping you. But think about the business that you're building and what is the best model for it to go global. So everything can't just go global. So is it maybe the implant story is a very good one. So you might sometimes need to bring something in before you can go out and make it global. And some of it might need other locations. You might be able to not do everything from here. You might need to put up your base or a partner or franchisees in other parts of the world before doing business there. But it can be done. The software industry has proven that, and many other industries in the due course will prove it. So we just have to be bold and go out and do it.
Thank you, Sam. It's typical Sam style. He has a very different alternative view on most things. So thank you so much. Over to you, Vinodni. I think you could share your closing thoughts and maybe put in some thoughts about the Kerala Angel Network. And
Yeah.
since we spoke about the VC side, you can also maybe add your thoughts on that.
Since we are summing up here, I mean, I think the one thing I would like to say to all aspiring startup founders as well as young startups who are present here, early stage or otherwise, the time is right now. Because literally, this number of stakeholders is going up. You will find that everybody wants to support the startup ecosystem in Kerala. I am the president of the Cochin Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and even there we opened a startup vertical. So it is becoming very obvious. The Women Entrepreneur Network, they are looking at startup verticals and supporting startups. If you look at it, every stakeholder is coming together to support the startup ecosystem. As far as TIE is concerned, we have two verticals, the Kerala Angel Network as well as the Capital Cafe, who are there to listen to pitches and to support early startups. So I think the time is perfect and right, and everybody who's here in this room who's looking at getting into startups or wants to look at mentoring, scaling up, as well as early financial support must get into it and must reach out to each and every one of these stakeholders. You can always do that through Kerala Startup Mission also, or directly contact any of these stakeholders who are involved in this. So the time is right. And the time is right for Kerala also to be seen globally and to go global in a much bigger scale. After all, in the world, I think we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And yes, and Kerala, I think, is going to go places by topping it. I think we are second in India, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. That's all I have to say. Best wishes
And
to
all the smart Malayalis are abroad, so we can take their help.
Yes, absolutely.
And have money.
And absolutely, sir. And I really hope that there will be a lot of reverse migration, a lot of youth who wants to stay back here. Yes.
There and send the money. And help our companies go there. Connect them to the ecosystem.
Yes, absolutely.
Connect them to the industry.
Absolutely.
Be there. Right.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Vinodni. Closing remarks from you, Jaishankar, on what would be your message to the startup mission, startup entrepreneurs, and your own thoughts for the future of businesses in your line or your company. Quick wrap up from yourself.
Actually, I have a very small advice to the youngsters only. That we have very good last so many years, right from the state government also, that so many seminars, so many exhibitions, and even their attempt to elevate the startup companies or tech companies, industries. So it results actually that in Palakkad itself, it's the largest manufacturing hub. It is coming up now. So our motto, as far as concerned with this, Kerala to world. So that part actually that we are going to export so many products. At that time, that quality should be a culture. It is not a quality control. That we have to treat it as a quality, our product, even not the product quality, our system. So many other things should be a culture. The quality should be a culture, right from the scratch to the top. Then only we can go for the global marketing and the things. Otherwise, they won't accept any products. And for youngsters, that my small suggestion is that apart from the traditional product or product development, we should go for the technology-based product that actually worldwide that requires basically. So that our thought process should be technology-based. I am not even talking about the information technology. Even space products are there. It is not. We cannot even straight away supply to ISR. We are planning for that. Even global countries, they are seeking for that components, assemblies, many things are there. In healthcare also, all these depending upon the quality. And so there is only a long cut, no shortcut for that. Very long cut. So that we should think and act likewise. Because in Kerala state that I have seen that we have to invest money in the morning and we have to get the profit in the evening. that is not a good thought process on that. Everything, there is only a long cut. With quality aspect, there is no shortcut at all. So we should be very patient to gain that business revenue out of that.
Excellent. I think it's a great way to close. So on behalf of all the panelists, let me thank Startup Mission once again. And then on behalf of all of you, let me thank all the panelists. So thank you so much.